let's follow up on that and other conversations around the manufacturers with the Director General, whom you saw there at that event. The Director General of Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, Mr. Segun Ajayi-Kadri, joins us virtually this morning. Mr. Ajayi-Kadri, good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning and thank you for having me.
Great. So we see there you were at that event, the Manning event, talking about exports and AFCFTA. What would you say would be a major takeaway from that meeting that you had?
Thank you again. The Man Export Group is the arm of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria that concerns itself with export of members' products, which means that we'll naturally be concerned with how those binding constraints that limit our capacity to export and have market penetration and market access in other economies, in other countries of the world. So our takeaway from here is that we are looking forward to, in spite of the challenges we have domestically, how we'll be able to increase our chances of profitable export outside of the country. We looked at the regulatory frameworks, we looked at the infrastructure that supports export. We also looked at those reforms that needed to be made by government so that our capacity to export will be accelerated, will be improved upon. And so that we do not just have a situation where we only say our aspiration of being an exporting country, and we don't take deliberate and intentional steps to be able to achieve them. And like you said, we brought in experts from the academia, from government, from the private sector, and even from our partners from outside of the country to examine these issues and then to be able to co-create an atmosphere that will allow us to export successfully and bring in the much needed forex, for instance, and our capacity to scale, because there's a direct correlation between your capacity to export and your capacity to scale. If you are able to produce for the domestic market, you expand, you're able to also produce for the external markets. That's basically what was highlighted during this annual general meeting of the Man Export Group of Man.
All right, another conversation that seems to be coming out of the export group is the issue of scrap metal. We know that the export of scrap metal from Nigeria is prohibited. It's part of the country's broader strategy to protect domestic manufacturing industries and ensure that local factories have a steady supply of raw materials. Well, that means that, among other things, no export license for scrap metal. The Nigerian Customs Service includes scrap metals on its official export prohibition list. And then there was that incident in Kenya in 2022 where Kenya was plunged into darkness after Kenya Power lost supply along part of its high voltage transmission power line because of vandals. And we've also seen it here in Nigeria. So is this a challenge for local manufacturers, the export of scrap metals, which is in the absolute prohibition list, but we hear that there are still elements of export going on around that? I wonder if this has come to your notice.
Yes, I mean, this is a very important matter because it is concerning that we are having a situation where criminality, illegal activities is being perpetrated by those who are anxiously and committedly gathering scrap for export. And the challenge here is that those who perpetrate this activity, even though it is prohibited, go into criminality because they vandalize government infrastructure and even private sector infrastructure, including those in telecoms and those for electricity power supply, in order for them to be able to aggregate enough for them to sell outside of the country. Apart from this vandalism, which is inimical to our national economic and social development, we also have a situation where even those who collect rightly or legally are having to aggregate and export, denying domestic manufacturers and recycling companies from having the feedstock that they require for their manufacturing process. Apart from this, there's also the issue of even exporting raw materials, so to say, and then having to import, when they have been processed, you have to import it at much higher cost. So it is a problem for industries, it is a problem for government in terms of the revenue it will have gotten, and in terms of the infrastructure that is being destroyed. And at the same time, it's not good for the environment. It is like we're intentionally creating unemployment in Nigeria and employment outside of the country. So it bodes no good for anyone. And the fact of the matter is that these nefarious activities take place with a lot of violence and a lot of criminality, such that the customs organization that is set up to be able to enforce the law regarding this prohibition will be overwhelmed. I mean, and because these people come in armed. I was having a conversation with one of my members yesterday who said to me that anyone who stands in the way of these scrap metal exporters may pay for it with his life. And this becomes very concerning. And the industries who even have information about where these things are taking place are actually afraid. That's what one of them said to me. So I think it is a very serious situation, and government needs to be intentional and ardent at preventing this drain on our economy. It is not good for the manufacturers, it is not good for job creation, it is not good for revenue for government, and it's not good for our social life.
But I wonder how, I mean, because I wanted to ask, what are the customs officers doing since it's in their purview? But you painted a picture there of violence. I wonder how you think this can be sorted. We talk about porous borders in Nigeria. I'm sure that's also contributing to that. We've talked a whole lot about employing technology in dealing with these porous borders and things like that. But I mean, when it now threatens life of law enforcement agents, then I wonder what else we can do to actually solve this problem.
So I think there has to be greater collaboration among the agencies of government, because it is not ghosts that deal in these illegal activities, and they reside in communities where you have other Nigerians residing. So I think there has to be collaboration between the police, but of course customs will take the lead, and they are doing their best, but the truth of it is that it is still happening. So if we have this collaboration between maybe the police, the Nigeria Customs Service, and even the security agencies, they should work with local communities, the elders, the youths, the traditional rulers, and so on, because all these activities, from the information we have, they assemble those things in the suburbs, and then they manage to ferry them outside of the country. It is important that we also have a point where people can aggregate and legally exchange those scrap. So when you have people who go to pick them, there will be designated places where you only go there to sell the scrap. Then if you are now seen anywhere else with scrap, you may have to explain what you are doing with it. We should also do it in such a way that we are able to have collaboration and cooperation with external bodies and government institutions outside of the country, so that they will not allow those who are illegally exporting these things outside of the country to have entrance in those countries. There's an international arrangement that is actually focused on ensuring that we are able to moderate the menace that has become of scrap metal export and exchanges. It is generally seen to be accompanied by criminal activities. And that should be a basis for asking for collaboration from other countries of the world, so that we are able to stop this menace.
Mr. Secretary, I also think that perhaps I mean, look at the new second Niger bridge. I know we had a report some months ago to say that the manhole covers, the railings are being removed. Perhaps we should also look at securing it from that point. Although I wonder how, is it a CCTV? Is it having officials manning those areas? In Abuja, for instance, the manholes, I mean, a lot of those covers have been taken away. And I'm sure it is from there that they have these scraps that they actually export.
Well, yes, even though I didn't hear most of what you said because I think the network is bad, but I do get it that people go to cut away government infrastructure. You mentioned the manhole in Abuja. It is very important that government improves on the use of technology to be able to check those the perpetrators of this crime, of this economic crime, and then be able to stop them in their tracks. It is very, very important that we understand it as not only because some people say they are just trying to make a living. I mean, that's a very pedestrian argument. We need to know that those items are socially owned. They belong to government. It's our responsibility as citizens of the country to ensure that we guarantee their safety, and we should do it in collaboration with government. So government should use technology, but it's also important that the people support government in this regard. I'm not sure of our readiness to have CCTV cameras covering everywhere, and how effective it will be if we do not have human beings actively supporting government in this regard. Our security agencies have to up their game, but the citizens of the country must also support, so that we all see it as in our own enlightened self-interest, if I could use that, to help the agencies to succeed. It is actually becoming a very, very serious matter, to the extent that our local recyclers and producers are crying out that they do not have enough scrap. What should have helped us to clean our environment and in the same process create an industry that will benefit government in revenue and lead to greater employment is lacking in a big country like Nigeria.
Yeah, so many potentials, but leakages also persist. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule, Mr. Kadri, to join us on this conversation. He's the Director General of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, Mr. Segun Ajayi Kadri.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to be with you. Thank you.
Yeah. Let's take a break now. When we come back, agribusiness, integrated one, will be our conversation. Please stay with us.